Ash-Greninja's never coming back, and it's all thanks to Mega Greninja. But before we go over how Mega Greninja wiped out Ash-Greninja from existence, we need to go over the whole history of Greninja and how Ash-Greninja even came to be, and the various different transformations and evolutions that this Pokemon went through. Greninja, one of the most popular Pokemon of all time. It's definitely the most popular water starter, and it's up there for the top 10 most popular Pokemon of all time, but dare I say, it might even be top 5 most popular Pokemon of all time. Outside of Mega Evolution, it's pretty much the poster child of Kalos, X and Y, and Generation 6 in general. It's this blue ninja frog that's based off Jiraiya, not the Jiraiya from Naruto, but that Jiraiya is also based off the Jiraiya tale from Japan. The tale of Jiraiya the Gallant. I know you hear from Naruto, but it's actually a proper story. They're all based off the same thing. If you've ever seen any Greninja and Naruto references in the XYZ anime, you know why. It's because it's based off the same thing. So of course, they wouldn't mind taking a few shots from Naruto as well, and look, they did. Ash-Greninja's final attack against Alan was pretty much a giant Resend Shuriken, but we won't talk too much about that battle because I know it's going to make people sad, as if people aren't sad enough watching this video already. But yes, speaking of Ash-Greninja was the form that was given to Greninja when Greninja didn't have a Mega Evolution, which was pretty much all the way up until the release of ZA. They pretty much did this to give the spotlight to a Kalos Pokemon in Ash's team while Ash was in Kalos. I guess they didn't want to make him use any other Pokemon because the focus was on the XY Pokemon there. And honestly, it worked out. It gave Greninja a lot more love and focus, and I would have rather that than like Charizard or Sceptile to come back on Ash's team and for him to use a Mega and give an already favorite Pokemon more favoritism. That would have just overshadowed Greninja and the whole Kalos team. The sad part here is that Delphox and Chestnut didn't get anything, but it was okay because people anyways just like Greninja. They didn't really like Delphox or Chestnut for the most part. If you're a Delphox or Chestnut lover from that time, I'm so sorry, but you know, this is what happened. It's true. The popularity for this Pokemon was so strong that actually, if you play the Sun and Moon demo, you got yourself an Ash-Greninja in the Gen 7 games. They brought this Pokemon to the games because they realized how much popularity the thing had. Now, very promptly after he was introduced into the game, Ash-Greninja was banned, and the reason being is that Ash-Greninja is kind of busted. Not just kind of busted, it is super busted. It powered up Water Shuriken, gave a crazy stat boost, or stat buff to Greninja, better than a Mega Evolution, and on top of this, it didn't get to hold an item. So literally you like power up its own signature priority move, give it a 110 stat total bonus, right? 110 stat points, whereas most Mega Evolutions are 100. And you don't even use an item, it's at the cost of an ability called Battle Bond, which, you know, you had to knock out an opposing Pokemon before transforming into Ash-Greninja, but that was relatively simple, it wasn't too difficult. And then you get the bonus of whatever item you're using. Whereas Mega Evolving Pokemon don't have that luxury. They need to use their item slot for a Mega Stone. So this Pokemon was just busted all the way through. And so it was banned. We never got to use it in like proper competitive Pokemon because it was Ubers from the get-go, and in doubles it was never allowed. Now in Generation 8, they made the call to not let this Pokemon be in any of the games. It wasn't obtainable in Sword and Shield or any of its Dexes or Legends Arceus. But what we did notice at this time was that the anime seemed to have retconned Ash-Greninja, because when Ash would have flashbacks to the Kalos League, and when he would think about Greninja or whatever, it just wasn't there. They just showed a regular Greninja fighting with Mega Charizard X, which was really strange because everyone saw and acknowledged the Ash-Greninja form. It was kind of a core thing about the anime at that time in Gen 6. So why is it all of a sudden scrubbed out from existence? Why is no one able to recollect this form and, you know, recognize it? It was really, really strange. And then Ash ended up reuniting with Greninja, and we never saw Ash-Greninja come into fruition. It never went back to its form, even though the last we left Greninja was as Ash-Greninja. It was all very, very strange. Then come Generation 9, and Greninja is now obtainable in Scarlet and Violet. And Battle Bond doesn't seem to work the same way. Greninja no longer transforms into Ash-Greninja, but Battle Bond is still active. Now what it does is when you knock out an opposing Pokemon, you get a stat boost to your speed, attack, and special attack stats. It's one stage up for all three of them. this can activate only once per battle, and it doesn't power up Water Shuriken anymore. And there's nothing to do with Ash-Greninja. So what gives? What happened there? Well, we walk around and we go to Nemono's house and everything, and you see this painting of what is Ash-Greninja, and it's referenced as the hidden ninja. Like, okay, why is there all of a sudden an Ash-Greninja reference here? What gives? What is so important about this thing? And if you compare this painting to the painting in the XYZ anime, because there was a painting of Ash-Greninja in the XYZ anime, it was like a fabled tale that this supreme Pokemon, not supreme, but you know, you get what I'm saying, the supreme Pokemon would appear and everything, and it turned out to be Ash-Greninja. You compare the two, it's pretty similar. You got the moon, you got the shuriken, you got the frog. It's there. It's Ash-Greninja. So it was looking to return, right? I don't know, man. At that point in time, discussions were flying everywhere. I thought maybe it was set to return, but that could have been some good copium hopium. But at least we know it now. It ain't coming back, because Mega Greninja is here, and it completely washed Ash-Greninja away. Mega Greninja is the reason why Ash-Greninja doesn't exist. And it's very simple as to why. Ash-Greninja is just better than Mega Greninja in every way possible. Keep design aside, because design is just preference, right? In terms of what Mega Greninja can do, you have to be holding the Greninjaite to Mega Evolve Greninja. You can evolve it immediately upon, holding the Mega Stone, but Mega Greninja only gets a 100 point stat total bonus, or boost, whatever. It gets 100 extra into its stats. And as we've gone over earlier, Ash-Greninja gets 110. So it's better already in that regard. But not only that, even in terms of the stat breakdown, the stat distribution, Mega Greninja, for whatever reason, gets some of its points going into its defenses, which I'm pretty sure I know the reason as to why this happened, right? Like, it didn't need defenses. Ash-Greninja never got any defense bonuses. All of Ash-Greninja's points went into attack, special attack, and speed, which is why it was so busted. It just became this min-max Pokemon that could just go crazy in terms of offenses. But for Mega Greninja, they didn't go that route. They distributed it more evenly. It still wasn't like that crazy, but it was worse than Ash-Greninja. And I'm 99% sure the reason why they did this is because they had to differentiate Mega Greninja from Ash-Greninja in some way. And so that happened. So now it's already worse than Ash-Greninja stat-wise. It has a weaker stat distribution and less stats to it. And it's also crippled by holding an item. Well, not really crippled, but you get what I'm saying. It's Ash-Greninja doesn't need to hold an item where Mega Greninja does. So it's already taking major hits. But you know what else? When it came to design, a lot of people were complaining about the way Mega Greninja looked. They said it didn't do too much. Why was it hanging upside down? Like, there was no need for it. And I'll tell you why Mega Greninja looks the way it does. First of all, I think Mega Greninja actually looks cool. It's actually really grown on me, to the point where I personally, and I know I'm gonna get slandered for this, I like Mega Greninja more than I like Ash-Greninja in terms of design. But the reason why Ash-Greninja looks the way it does is because Ash-Greninja exists. If they went with the standing route for Mega Greninja, I guarantee you it would have looked too similar to Ash-Greninja, where fans would have went, where's Ash-Greninja? Why couldn't the Mega just be Ash-Greninja? They would have had all kinds of, things to say about it. And that's primarily the reason why Mega Greninja is standing upside down. Because by making it stand or hang upside down from a shuriken, you make it look drastically different from Ash-Greninja. That was the only reason. Otherwise, I'm sure Mega Greninja would have looked very similar to Ash-Greninja, but they couldn't do that because they've already made that design for Ash-Greninja back in the Gen 6 anime, when they didn't anticipate to have more Mega Evolutions for all of these Pokemon, including the Kalos starters. Why they didn't anticipate that, I don't know. I guess they thought they were going to be done with Megas, and they talked about that back in the day, how they were going to be done with the whole thing. But I really think they should have had designs in the back just saved. Maybe Ash-Greninja was the Mega design that was saved in the back for it, but they decided to bring it for the anime. And then when they did bring it for the anime, they're like, dang, we can't use this now for Legends ZA. And what do? Make it hang upside down. Hey, if you love Greninja, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, because I love Greninja too. But I'm definitely gonna have more ZA videos coming out frequently, and I'm working on a catalog of early access videos for members, so if you want to see all the videos early, be sure to become a member today. But that explains Mega Greninja. It doesn't explain why Ash-Greninja doesn't exist. Well, just think about it like this, okay? If you had the choice between Ash-Greninja and Mega Greninja, how many of you would pick Mega Greninja? Because I'm telling you, though I like the design of Mega Greninja better than Ash-Greninja, if I have to take one of them into battle, I'm picking Ash-Greninja every day, all day, every day, bro. Like, it's just like, it's no contest. There's no reason for me not to use Ash-Greninja over Mega Greninja. It's just better. And so, now that you have these two forms, if you want to highlight Mega Greninja, let's say for whatever, let's say somehow Ash comes back to the anime, right? You want to get him to use Mega Greninja. But why would he use it if Ash-Greninja exists? The only way to do it is to retcon Ash-Greninja. And that will help. You gotta think about it even in terms of marketing and sales. They want Mega Greninja to be a more popular Pokemon for the sales of the game, the merch, the toys, the cards, whatever it may be. Whereas Ash-Greninja was like exclusive anime form, right? So like, what is it gonna do to sell other things in terms of toys, cards, games, whatever? It's not. You got like Mega Greninja, if it gets popular, will sell. And so you need Ash-Greninja gone in every way possible. It's just gotta be gone forever. Do I agree with it? No. In fact, I think it's kind of stupid because it pretty much like ruins the XYZ anime. Not ruins, but it takes away a whole part of the anime that very much existed and was a central plot point to the story and show. But hey, it is what it is. But yeah, no, if Mega Greninja didn't exist, maybe Ash-Greninja would still exist in Generation 9, but the moment they decided to give the Kalos starters Mega Evolutions, they knew they had to wrap it up and get rid of Ash-Greninja. And so, I doubt we'll be seeing this form anytime soon, and there's a strong chance that we will never ever see this form ever again. Do I hope that's the case? No, but hey, for now, we just gotta bank on Mega Greninja, which I am learning to love and appreciate now.